Sorry, I was muted. I did not know. So as you can see, so constructor overloading is same as our argument constructor over method overloading itself. Here only difference is that here the methods are now constructed. So a triangle class is used to demonstrate. So class triangle, then double base and double height, and then triangle will be a constructor, double B and double H, and then basic will be assigned to the parameter of B, height will be assigned to the parameter H, and then double area is a function to calculate the area, return 0.5 into base into height. So is returning the area. Okay, so every triangle has two parameters. This means that all triangle declaration of a triangle objects must be two parameters. So the following statement is invalid. So triangle is equal to new triangle is not valid. Okay. So because a triangle requires two arguments. Suppose if we want to be able to create a triangle where specify only the value that will be used for the dimension, that is both height and height, base and height are equal, then the solution to this problem is quite simply by overloading the triangle constructor. So now we will have another concept. So class triangle will be, then double base, double height will be there, then triangle double B, double H, as usual, base will be assigned to B, height will be assigned to H, and then triangle double B. That means when we have only one dimension. So base equal to height will be equal to B. So then double area will be returned base into height, 0.5 into base into height. So now class triangle 1 is going to, so class triangle 1 is going to use um, uh, both the constructors. See, triangle T1 equal to new triangle where 10 and 20 will be passed. Then triangle T2 equal to new triangle, only 20 will be passed. So area 1 equal to T1 dot area. So what will happen is area 1 will have area based on the two parameters for T1, that is 10 into 20, that is half into 10 into 20, that is uh, will be 100. Okay, or it will be 100. And in case of T2, the area 1 again will be T2 dot area. This time area it will be area 1, where area 1 will have a new value based on the new constructor. Okay, so this time the value will be 20 into 20 into 5, that is 200. Okay, so output you can see is 100 and 200. So this is an example of constructor overloading, same as our method overloading. Please remember that the constructor must have difference in parameter types or number of parameters. Okay, so this was example of uh, constructor constructor overloading. Now we come to another type, important polymorphism type called inheritance. Okay, inheritance is the most popular form of applying uh, polymorphism in object-oriented programming. So the most significant advantage of object-oriented programming is both reusability. Okay, the reuse is actually possible in two ways, using either a composition or inheritance. The composition is equal, is also called as has a relationship or containment, and inheritance is a relationship. Okay, so to realize physically, inheritance must be treated as a is a relationship. That means something is a this. Okay, so examples will clearly explain the difference between the terms, and composition is actually probably safer and easier to control. The in inheritance making object oriented programming purely. Okay, the has a relationship is implemented by providing the class with member variable. So is a relationship is implemented by inheritance using the Java keyword extends. Composition is where one class is a component of another class. Inheritance is where one class extends another class. So if a class is having another class inside it, that is actually the class has a something. Okay, so that is a has a relationship. And if the class is extending its features to another class, that means that is a relationship which is achievable by our inheritance. Relationship. The procedural approach of emphasizes action that manipulates data. It does not clearly define the relation string. So, in the object-oriented approach, objects perform actions in response to message from other objects. This approach specifies relationship among classes depending on the behavior and class. So, basically, our procedural programming, which emphasizes only on operations on data, actually, object-oriented programming, why it has become popular? Because this also specifies relationship among different objects in a more understandable way. Okay, so relationships are classified and is a relationship and has a relationship. So lemon is a fruit and fruit has a seed. So this particular thing, so any kind of fruit. So lemon is a fruit, uh, mango is a fruit, there are different types of fruits. So their parent class is fruit. So there are many properties available common to fruits will be available applicable to lemon and our say mango or banana. And a fruit has a seed. So every fruit has a seed. So fruit seed is a part of any fruit. But so seed is a fruit or fruit is a seed is not applicable. So that is the difference between is a relationship and has a relationship. So our is a relationship is better understood by inheritance in Java. The example depicts the relationship between lemon and fruit. Let's take an instance of fruit being lemon. The above figure illustrates a relationship. A fruit has a seed. This represents and has a relationship. And the above figure depicts the relationship between a fruit and a fruit. For uh, simply we say is a may be used to describe the superclass and has a represents the variable respectively. Okay. So lemon is a fruit which has a seed. The description would give outline of a Java class in the program. So, public class lemon extends fruit and seed s. Okay. So, this here we see both the parts like our inheritance as well as has a relationship, that is seed s. So, seed is inside a lemon, that is also available in any other fruit, and lemon extends fruit because lemon is having common properties of all other fruit. So, the direct correspondence between is a clause and extends clause. So, Ford is a car and car has a wheel and engine. Another example of is a and has a. So, public class Ford extends car, wheel W. So, any car having a wheel and engine, that is true. So, that is a Ford is a car, so it must have a wheel and engine. So, that is also true. Now, let us elaborate our inheritance concepts. So if you want an object that has that is very similar to one you already have, but with a few extra characteristics, you which is extra characteristic, you just inherit a new class based on the class of similar objects. So inheritance is the process of creating a new class with the characteristics of an existing class, along with additional characteristics to the new class. So now coming to technicality, what inheritance can do is it can extend the existing properties of a class along with some additional properties which is not present in the previous class or the base class. The class doing the inheritance is referred to as the subclass or derived class or child class, and the class providing information to inherit is referred to as superclass or base class or parent. Okay. So when a class is based on another class, it inherits all other properties of that class, including the data and methods for the class. In the below diagram, the arrow goes in the opposite direction to what you want. So it is pointed downward. We would label it inheritance. Okay. So the arrow goes from the derived class to base. Okay. It is called a derived, and it is called as derived from another. Okay, so base class actually diagram inheritance is sometimes referred to as base to derived. The arrow direction is from base to derived, and sometimes the arrow direction is from bottom to top, that is derived to. In the above diagram, illustrate the generalized inheritance. The base class consists of member variable 1 and 2 in the method. So, in the method 1 and method 2, the derived class inherits all the methods and variables from the base class and also has a new method named method 3. So, method 1 to variable 1, 2 are members of derived class as well as base class, but method 3 is a member of only the derived class. So method 3 will not go to base class. But method 1 and method 2 from base class to derived class both have access. Okay. So this is another example of CD. Example of inheritance CD, that means have two types, so audio CD or video CD. Okay. In our example, derived class could be inheritance from the CD for audio CD and video CD. Both share a CD characteristic, but they have added new characteristics for their own. So here CD is a common thing to both of them, but one of them has additional property of audio, whereas the other has additional property of being video. So we come to types of inheritance, that is single inheritance. Okay. So in a single inheritance, only one superclass and many subclasses. Okay. So flower. So rose is a flower, sunflower is a flower, lotus is a flower. So this is an example of single inheritance. So although you see there are many subclasses, you see this type of example is called single inheritance because one base class is used to be derived. That is why this is called single inheritance. Then we have another type of inheritance called multiple inheritance. So in multiple inheritance, subclasses are derived from more than one superclass. So the derived class inherits the data member and methods of each superclasses. So all the superclasses are derived. So more than one superclass in multiple inheritance, and they are derived in the subclasses. The following illustrates the multiple inheritance. The baby inherits its properties from class mommy and daddy. So, a typical example is mommy and daddy both together inherit the baby. Okay, this is multiple inheritance. But please remember at this point itself that multiple inheritance is actually not directly supported by Java. For this, we have to go to another typical facility in Java called interface. Okay, we will see that in due course of time. So C++ supports our multiple inheritance directly, but Java does not support directly. Anyway, we come to the third type of inheritance called multi-level inheritance. So multi-level inheritance is produced from a derived class. The following illustrates the multi-level. So grandfather inherits father, father inherits son. So this is an example of multiple. So A inherits B, B inherits C. So grandfather is class A. Suppose father, the representation will be father extends grandfather, then son extends father. Here it is stated Java does not support multiple inheritance. However, programmer can take the benefit of multiple inheritance to interface. That will be another chapter. Okay. The general form of inheritance will be public class, subclass, extends, superclass, name. Okay. Variable declaration and method declaration. That means these are the variable declaration and method declaration for the derived class, not the base class. So whatever properties are there in the base class, that will be automatically available. So extends keyword is used to derive. An example is so class base. So integer xy, then void view xy system dot out println x equal to x and y equal to hello y. Okay, so void base add, that means this is we are talking about the base class. So println x plus y equal to sum of x plus y, and class derive, the class is over. Then we have another class called class derive extends base. So we have another class called derive extends base class, where we have another variable called z. Okay, so void view z is system dot out println z equal to view of z. So we have another so we have displayed with few z function few value of z and void derive sum. Okay, so sum of derive. Okay, this time we can displaying the sum of x plus y plus z, and it will be sum of x plus y plus z. Please remember that x and y are not variables of the derived class, but please remember they will be inherited from their base class with the extends keyword. Okay, so derived sum uses sum of x plus y plus z, and then class inheritance. That means this is a class which will actually demo our inheritance. So base b equal to new of base. We are creating an instance of base class b, and derived d equal to new of derived. So we are creating another instance of class derived class. So b dot x equal to 1, b dot y equal to 2. So base classes x and y has been initialized to 1 and 2. Okay, the system dot out dot println base class values and b dot view x1. Okay, so b dot base add. Okay, so this expected that view xy will print x equal to 1, y equal to 2, and base add will print x plus y equal to 3. Okay, then we count the derived class. So d dot x equal to 4, d dot y equal to 5, d dot z equal to 6. Please remember x and y were not derived declared in our derived class, but you see x and y are our variables automatically inherited from our base class. So what will happen is view xy will print our 4 and 5, then view z will print 6, and then derived sum will print 4 plus 5 plus 6, that is 15. Okay, because you can see in the output the base class values initially will print for the base class. So x equal to 1, y equal to 2, then x plus y equal to 3, and in the derived class x equal to 4 and y equal to 5. See, x and y values are automatically inherited from our base class, but they had been newly assigned. So their original initialization will no longer continue. 1 and 2 will be replaced by 4 and 5 respectively. Okay. So in a class, private members will remain private to their class. It is accessible by other member of the own class. Subclasses have no access to it. Private classes are not accessible by a code outside this class. So that is why the classes that they see here class base, if you declare private class base, that will not be inheritable. Okay, and if you declare any variable here, by default the access specifier will be public, but of course there is a limitation. This is almost public, we can say it is public. So if you don't declare private, they will be inheritable, but if you declare private in xy, then view xy everything will work, but that will not be inheritable to our derived class as this x plus y plus z. Okay, so this particular statement will not be executable. Another example is there, base class access, where integer I, that is by default, public integer j by public, and private integer k, so private public none, and protected integer p. Please remember, we mentioned protected as something which is accessible by the class and is derived classes but not publicly. Okay, so it is accessible to its subclass. Then for its set value, integer I1, J1, K1 and P1, there is a constructor. Okay, is not constructor, although it is labeled constructor, it is working as constructor, but the function name is a different one called set value. The class name is okay. So set value is doing I equal to I1, J equal to J1, K equal to K1, P equal to P1, and void base P. Okay, this is a base class and I am viewing. So within the base class, default I, public K, private K, and protected P. Okay, so now we have a derived class sub extends access. Okay, then derived view. Derived view is a function where system that order println default I, public J, and protected P. Okay, so private is not printable. In fact, if you write private system that order println this private equal to plus K, then that particular statement will show an error. So class member class, now it is now using all our base and derived classes. What it is doing is sub obj equal to new of sub. Okay, so we are creating instance of the sub class, we are not creating instance of the base class. So obj dot set value 1 2 3 4, then obj dot base view, obj dot derived view. So what will happen is, you see output base class default 1 2 3 4 protected. So obj dot base view will is printing all our functions because I am setting the value as 1 2 3 4. Okay, you see, because this function set value base dot set value, so actually obj dot set value, when we talk about obj dot set value, it is calling the constructor of the base class, not of the derived class. Okay, but this class can access the private value k, but it is not accessible to others. So derived view cannot use this or call this. Okay, so obj dot base view will print our values. You see, base view 1 2 3 4, and in the derived view 1 2 and 4. C equal to k was not printed because that was declared as a private. Okay, So in the above program, we cannot access the private variable in subclass. If you try to access it, the compiler gives error message and undefined variable, and the program will not compile itself. So another program to illustrate the interactive input of triangle. Okay, see. Here we will see a triangle class. So input java.io.star, this input output function. So here what is why input output? Because we are using some input. Okay. So as of now they are using exception handling. Try class exception handling we will discuss in separate class. So what this function is doing, class shape, it is creating a base class, then integer b integer 8, and shape is a default constructor, b equal to 0, h equal to 0. Then shape in b1 and h1, that is argument constructor, b equal to b1 and h equal to h1. So void get values. What this get values is doing is, so it is trying some keyboard input. So system that try within that buffer reader b2 equal to new buffer reader, then it is actually taking keyboard input and to the input.stream reader. As of now, you need not worry about the statement. Just look at this. So, what is system.out.println, enter the base, then string s equal to b2.readline. Okay. So, b2 is the buffer reader through which will take keyboard input. Okay. So, s equal to b2.readline, then b equal to integer.parsing. So, actually b will be an integer whose value is now processable or operable. So system.out.println enter the height in the same way h equal to integer dot pass in s1. Okay, so it is b2 dot read line. So now we having the values b and h through keyboard input, which we are passing through our. So a catch exception, IO exception is that is only to handle the input output errors. Okay, so now we having the values available. Void view will be system.out.println base equal to b and h equal to height equal to h. So view just to display the values base and height. Then class triangle extend shape. So triangle is a uh, uh, class that will ultimately inherit the shape. So triangle is one kind of shape, that is the main logic behind it. So void area. Now area will be calculated. System that order println area of the triangle is half into b into h. Okay. So simple logic, and then within the main function of the triangle class itself, triangle to equal to new triangle which is created. That is the default constructor. So t dot get values, then we'll set the values, then t dot view will print the area, and t dot area will be, so t dot view will print height equal to this. So get values will print enter the base, you will enter 10, enter the height, enter 10, then the base equal to 10, height equal to 10. So sorry, it will be 20, this value will be 20, this misprint. So height will be 20, then area of the triangle is half into 0.5 into 10 into 20, that is 100. Okay, so this is the use of our constructor. Sorry, this is the use of inheritance using a, uh constructor, argument constructor. Okay, we come to some more topic. This is the super keyword. So super keyword we will discuss in our next class. That will be important. So I would like to end up with our multi-level inheritance. So multiple inheritance is not supported. So single and multi-level will be our discussion here. So super x will extend y, that is then, and y will extend again z. So y extends x in terms of Java syntax. Y extends x and z extends y. So in the hierarchical inheritance, so it is multi-level or hierarchical inheritance, the constructors are called in order of derivation from superclass to subclass. Okay, from top to bottom, the constructors are called. So in if super is not used, then default constructor of each superclass will be executed. Okay, uh, the example has to be actually rescanned anyway, no problem. So class x, suppose x will is the constructor and system out dot println x is the I am first. Okay, that's simple print statement. Then y extends as x, then y is a constructor, then y I am next. Okay, then we have class z extends y, then z is another constructor, then z I am the last. Okay, so now class call me is the method or class which actually is using the inherited classes. So uh, system.out.println x constructor, then x equal to new x. Okay, so this will printed I am first, then y equal to y new y, which will print I am next, then z1 equal to new z, which will print our so it will print our Z constructor. But I have already mentioned the constructors are executed in the order of their inheritance, that is from superclass to subclass. So when you are calling x equal to new x1, it will execute x constructor and then x I am first. When you are calling y1 equal to new y, it is calling the constructors x as well as y. So what if you please y constructor, then it is calling x I am first, y I am next. And then when you are calling z constructors, z1 equal to new z, it is calling constructors of both x, then y, then z. Okay, so the output will be x I am first, y I am next, z I am last. Okay, so this is actually order of execution of their constructors in inheritance. So I think we can end here today's discussion. So two new students I find in this class, Chandrasekhar and Pradeep. So what happened, Chandrasekhar and Pradeep? You did not attend my first class today. May I know from you, Chandrasekhar? Chandrasekhar, are you there or simply logged in? Turn your microphone. Chandrasekhar, you would fail to respond. Your attendance will not be counted. Pradeep, are you there? Pradeep Banik, are you there? Can you hear me? Pradeep, why don't you respond?
Sir,
Are you there? You are not present in the first class, right? At 10:15.
no, sir. I
No.
wasn't present in the first class.
Yeah, you should be present. Okay, otherwise your attendance is very low. You're normally you are a good student. You attend classes, but I see some of the classes you miss. Okay, so be regular in the classes. Okay, I'll call the roles. Ankumani,
Present, sir.
Changlim,
Present, sir.
David,
Yes, sir.
Jitul,
Present, sir.
Luknu,
Present, sir.
Neha,
Present, sir.
Nilroton,
Yes, sir.
Soidur, Tridib,
Yes, sir.
and Wilson.
Present, sir.
Chandrasekhar Yadav, are you there? Chandrasekhar Yadav, can you hear me? See, Chandrasekhar, if you don't respond, your attendance may not be marked. Okay, so please try to respond. I assume you are hearing me. So, anyway, students, we will see you in our next class, that is the lab class tomorrow afternoon. So, thank you all.
Sir.
Okay, got it. Okay, okay, then. Thank you all. See you tomorrow afternoon.